Welcome to EZMarketing's Genius of the Month. I'm your host, Tom Malesic, CEO and founder of EZMarketing. Each month, we like to hit pause on the tactics and spotlight the awesome businesses we work with that are doing the work and seeing success. This month's genius is MaryAnne Reynolds from Gifts CPAs, who's doing something smart, intentional, and effective with their marketing and seeing real results because of it. Today, we're excited to dig into her story, what's working, and what she's learned along the way. Marianne, thanks so much for being our genius of the month. And it's always a pleasure to talk with you. And what I want to do today is have you tell all of our listeners about your business and what marketing is like today, what it was like before, and give people some great advice from your years of wisdom as a marketing professional.
Sure. Thanks for having me on, Tom. I am MaryAnne Reynolds with Gifts CPAs. We're a small accounting firm. I mean, we're kind of growing because we have 4 locations at this point, but we handle all of the bookkeeping and accounting services for small business around our local area. And what that means is we do bookkeeping, we do taxes, we do consulting and advisory services for the small to mid-sized businesses around our area. With that, I handle all of the marketing and I also handle HR. So I have 2 hats that I wear. But marketing has always been my love. That's what I grew up doing. That's my degree. That's my main experience. And so when I came into Gift CPAs about 10 years ago, they were very new into marketing. It was very not good, to be blunt, but that's okay because I came in and I helped them. They were going through a rebrand, which was wonderful. So we had a new logo and everything and a new website. But throughout that, we weren't working with EZMarketing quite yet, and it took a couple years to get there. But I learned a lot through that journey. And once I got to EZMarketing, I mean, it was night and day from that experience. Our business as accountants, we pride ourselves on the relationship with our clients. That communication, that responsiveness, all of that is so important to us, and also the consulting part of it. And I feel that working with you, your team, I don't just work with one person. I work with an actual team, and they help me and my team understand marketing in a different lens. And then also they communicate with me on a monthly basis. We have a meeting on a monthly basis, just even a short meeting or a long meeting, depending on what my needs are. But even along the way throughout the month as I need them. And they're very responsive and they understand what we're trying to accomplish. And that's interesting because you guys are in marketing. You're not accountants, but you still try to understand what we are trying to accomplish in our marketing and work with us on learning that and accomplishing our goals.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a lot of professional services, particularly in the accounting field, you rely so heavily on this concept of word of mouth and the relationship. And marketing seems to be an afterthought in most accounting companies, even in very large accounting companies, that there's not even a full-time role for that. It's kind of a part-time thing. And I know how much time you put into the marketing role
Mhm.
that you have. Can you talk a little bit about when you said, hey, it was kind of night and day, what are the things that you learned or that we helped you with in some of those little nuanced things?
Well, when we started with you, I hired Easy Marketing to redo our website. So we started over, redid our website. And at that time, I think it was about 3 years or so ago, I was heavily focused on SEO. SEO was huge, search engine optimization. So huge. I wanted to be at the top of the, first page as best as possible, especially in our area. I knew that like Google AdWords and purchasing those words and everything in our industry is super expensive. I tried it once and it was not successful. And it's because of our industry. And that's fine. I mean, we just don't have the budget for that, right? We just have to be mindful of our budget, our size, and that's just not for us. So I wanted to pivot and work on SEO with you guys. And that's what we did. So we started our services by redoing our website and working with you on that consultation on what would make sense SEO wise. And that's how we started our relationship with you.
You talk about how you quantify the results, right? So for all businesses, especially small businesses, seeing that correlation between the dollar you spend and the dollar you make is always so hard to make that translation. But I know you spent a lot of time looking at that dashboard. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, the dashboard, it's amazing. It's, like, overwhelming, but awesome at the same time. So, with our analytics, I mean, you guys have this amazing dashboard. I don't even know how you guys put it together, but it's so cool because we have this SEO and analytics and I don't know, you bring in Google stuff and whatever it is, we get to see all the calls that come in through those organic searches. We get to see anyone that fills out forms on our website. It captures everything. And then also, what I love about it is we get to make little notes in there. We get to mark down like quotes if it's been sold. Like we get to do our own tracking inside that back end side of things. And what's cool about that too is whenever I am meeting with my sales team or meeting with the leadership team, I can show them exactly what's happening with our marketing and what we're paying for and the return, right? So I just love that so much and I've never had that before. And it's really cool too because what I was saying before is I have those monthly meetings and we go over this information. So if I'm missing something or if I don't understand something, I get that explanation.
Yeah, it's so important to have that relationship too, so that you can call and that the more we can educate you on what we're doing and why we're doing it, then you can participate in that process. And that monthly meeting really lends to that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, we find that our clients that really take advantage of that monthly meeting makes all the difference.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like I rarely cancel it. If anything, I reschedule it. But even if it's like a quick little meeting with Sharon, I enjoy speaking with her and just if there's just a little tidbit or whatever, it's a good learning and growth experience.
Yeah. What was your experience like working with other marketing agencies in the past?
I think let me see. With other agencies, I mean, I think everyone's so busy, right? I mean, we are too. We're extremely busy. We're going into tax season. So it's really easy to push some of your clients to the side, especially if they're not investing a lot with you. But so I feel like in the beginning, whenever we were trying to start our marketing journey as accountants, I mean, they are kind of penny push or, pinchers. So
Let's hope so.
but the budget wasn't really there, and, it took a lot of convincing for them to understand marketing and how it works and, like, the return, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time, and so, we had to work towards that, and it did take some time, but, I mean, we're successful now, and so at the beginning, we didn't really have a big budget to, invest, and so some of those marketing firms, I think, just kinda pushed us to the side and didn't really invest that time into us, understanding that, yeah, marketing takes time, but so does that relationship. And so, um, I don't know, I feel like, we started small with you guys too. And I mean, at this point, we are building our services with you. And I think that's the goal for any business, start small and then try to grow. I mean, it's one in a million, not maybe not a million, but one in whatever that you get a client that wants all your services right away. Right? So you build that and it's part of relationship. It's part of proving that you're doing a great job and you know what you're doing. And so that's basically my experience with the other I'm not going to say, I mean, they didn't do a bad job. It was just about our fit. Our fit wasn't the same, right? And
Yeah.
that's fine. I mean, maybe it's a better fit for someone else, but for me, and our needs, it wasn't a great fit.
Okay, great. One of the things that I find in the marketing agency industry is that they tend to hire, let's call them salespeople that aren't truly marketing consultants. And one of the things that we've really tried to do is that salesperson is much more of a marketing consultant and can help the internal operations team who's delivering the service really look at the details and then be that person that can really translate the here's what we did, here's why, here's what's next. Can you speak to that in kind of what your experience is? Like, have you seen that thread and that thread might be different from what you had experienced in the past?
Yeah, I actually I really appreciate that about your team. I mean, they do understand marketing, and it's really interesting because I feel like it's hard to find that person because I mean, a salesperson, that personality is very different than the technical person, right? So you have found that salesperson who is also somewhat the technical person in the sense of they understand how it works, at least. I mean, they're not actually doing the technical behind the scenes part of it, but they at least understand it enough to be dangerous. Right. So, I mean, that's how I feel, I guess, Sharon is, right? She's my account representative. And so I feel like that is important in any business, right? Someone who is outgoing, personable, is able to bridge that gap, but understands enough, right? To figure out what the client needs and how to translate that to the team so that there is not a lot of friction, right? A lot of unknowns. And then it takes a lot of time and energy. And then, so yeah, yeah. I mean, your team has, and honestly, I mean, if Sharon doesn't know, she brings in other people and there's no shame in that. Right. And that's so important to me. That's important for any company to have that. Again, the team, right? You have a great team and that's so important.
Thank you. I know the new service that we just added for you is the AI. So, in other words, how do we get visibility within ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, those large language models? What was kind of the reason that you said, "Hey, listen, I got to jump on this piece too"?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot about this, I guess GEO it's called, right? I'm not
Ah,
sure what it stands for.
it stands for Generative Engine Optimization.
I'll have to start remembering that now. But yeah, so I've heard bits and pieces about this. I understand it to a certain degree. Again, enough to be dangerous. But I know that we have had some inquiries because people have searched for something related to accounting on ChatGPT, and it brings them to us. So we've had referrals because of that or inquiries because of that, and it just piqued my interest. And when I heard about GEO, I just really wanted to understand it a little bit more. And I think that's going to be a really good investment for us because our SEO is working so well that I think that your team is going to do a really good job researching it and diving into that and making sure that, our GEO is going to be just as good as our SEO. And I know it's going to take time, and that's what I had to convince my team. That's okay. We're ready for it. So I'm excited for that next chapter.
Excellent. Yeah, it's going to be so fun to see that transition of really having a competitor to Google, which has been so void for so long. I mean, it's Google and it's only Google.
Mhm.
And to now have ChatGPT kind of, I mean, they're the ones we're really seeing the most. But to have them give Google the run for their money, at least maybe we'll get to Coke and Pepsi as competitors, and that would be great.
Yeah.
Everybody needs competitors, and Google's kind of been unchecked for so long. So yeah, we're excited to drive results in that area.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. What would you tell a small business owner that's very similar to you, operating on that tight budget about if they met with us and they were kind of on the fence, what advice would you give to them?
I mean, I think maybe interview a few people. And it's a little bit odd because if you're giving names out, but I mean, you have a bunch of websites that you've done that you list on your website. So, I mean, randomly call someone and see what it's really like. I mean, I know a lot of website designers who have a bunch of websites because it's good SEO for them, but doesn't mean that they're still clients or maybe so do some spot checks, interview other people, get other thoughts from other marketing companies, but you guys are going to sell yourselves really easily. So, I feel like I tell anyone with regards to accounting as well, like go ahead and interview other people, and it's okay. And it's okay to say no, no. And then hopefully you guys are proving yourselves as you have been and they'll end up coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always fascinating to see, you're only as good as your marketing or your sales team is
Mhm.
before you buy, because that's all you know. You don't necessarily know, are they really going to deliver on what they promised
It's very true.
at the end of the day? And, talking to people who have experienced it is always one of the greatest ways to say, well, they just, is this a game or are they really that good? you know,
I know, right?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, that is honestly kind of the scary part, and you don't know until you're in it, right? I mean, it's kind of like
Exactly.
hiring an employee. They can present themselves really well, and then as soon as they're in, it's like, "Do you"
Yeah. Yeah, same thing with accounting services. Like, I think it was the same thing with we're in a similar professional services
Mhm,
uh, industry, and that's just so important to make sure that you find that good fit and find that company that's really going to take care of you at the end of the day.
exactly. You are so right. Yeah, we're so happy with everything that you guys have done, and we're excited about this year and what's to come.
Awesome. Thanks for listening to this month's episode of Easy Marketing's Genius of the Month. If you know someone who you think should be our next genius, shoot us an email at hello@easymarketing.com. Tune in next time for another great episode with another marketing genius.